Oh, this is going to be so much fun. Now, I initially tried to do some weekly Dragon Ball Super reviews, but when that seemed kind of boring and pointless, mostly because it was in the middle of the Universe 6 arc, an arc that really has nothing much going for it story-wise, I was pretty much left with nothing to really talk about, so I just kind of dropped the whole idea and decided to go back to arc reviews once everything is said and done. But this episode has caused such an uproar in the community that I feel like it is my solemn duty as a raging psychopath to comment on it. Because this is like the BVS of Dragon Ball Super. Like, this is some truly divisive shit on a story level, but on an animation level, everybody agrees that this episode is absolutely fantastic. And so do I. I think that this is easily not just the best animated episode from beginning to end. I think this is probably one of the best animated episodes in the entire franchise, and Toei really went above and beyond animation-wise to make sure it looks good, because this is like the big action finale of the arc. It has to look good. It just cannot look as bad as, like, I don't know, half of Goku versus Beerus in the Battle of Gods arc, most of Goku versus Frieza, and there. Kid versus Goku looked fairly okay throughout most of it, but this is like the so-called best arc of Dragon Ball Super, and so it demanded a lot of attention. And while the storyline is certainly a big load of stupid bullshit, the animation is absolutely stellar from beginning to end. Like, they have pretty much all of their superstar animators are working on this in one way or another. They got Shimanuki doing, character art. You've got Naoki Tate showing up, even though he was fairly active in the last few episodes, either effects-wise or just animation-wise. You've got now Shida coming back after almost, 10 weeks off from episode 57, giving us a fairly long cut of action, which looks fucking insane. And there are more people in there. There's, Kenotsuka, Karasawa, just the best people animating Dragon Ball Super were all brought in one way or another to help make this the best, visual-looking finale of an arc that we've gotten so far. And in that regard, it's an absolute blast. And even at a surface level, the broad stroke ideas of this episode are fairly strong and they're fairly cool, but I have to stand on the side of the complainers on this one because that's just part of my job description. Just tell you guys straight up that this episode is some serious bullshit. And probably not for the reasons that you might expect. A lot of people are going to probably assume that I say this because of the whole Potara retcon, but I have some other thoughts on that thing, and that's not even really an issue for me per se. There are other things I want to talk about. But overall, the third arc of the Black arc is, in my opinion, very bad. Everything from episode 61 to this one is just to varying degrees of awful. Like in broad strokes, all of those episodes are very good, but once they come down to execution, I think it's just more nonsense being built up on more nonsense. Like Trunks' unexplained quasi-Super Saiyan God form. I don't care what stupid headcanon you're going to try and sell me on. There is no in-universe information about this thing. I've already made an entire video chronicling why Goku Black's origin simply does not work, regardless if you believe in the loop or the split timeline theory. Black's motivation starts to get really, really iffy as this whole arc progresses, and it just completely devolves into stupid, psychotic ex-supreme god rambling on and on about mortals and how superior he is. That shit was getting really old as early on as the Cell arc. It was blatantly and appallingly awful when Super Buu started to do it, and then now that Zamasu has pretty much become nothing short of a rambling Aizen-esque, little bitch, it's just not a good time. And there are other factors that are in play as to why I think these episodes are bad, and I'm going to get into them once I review the overall arc, because I really want to focus just on this one and maybe bring up a few plot points that I feel like were set up beforehand that were not properly paid off here, even though they were very clearly good alternatives. So the episode begins with a big load of bullshit right at the beginning where One Piece style, Goku is having a beam struggle against Zamasu, and he wins the beam struggle. So already this is just insane. It's not even a situation where Goku powers up to Kaioken times 10 with Super Saiyan Blue to like give him a quick, surprising burst of energy. Like, no, Zamasu and Goku are going all out, except Goku isn't going all out. He just says full power, and then he just wins the beam struggle. So Dragon Ball Super has just dropped any pretense of being a Dragon Ball show when it comes to powers. This is fucking One Piece now. This is a series where training means nothing and any character can just get random unexplained power-ups or increases in strength thanks to rage boosts or hot-bloodedness or the power of friendship and the desire to protect their loved ones or their nakama if you want to really, really get into how stupid this whole situation is. And this is something that Dragon Ball didn't really do. Like, there were transformations and boosts triggered by loved ones being hurt, but it was never so blatantly shonen, I guess, because a lot of people say that Dragon Ball is the forefather of shonen, and that is kind of true and it isn't, but a lot of the things that other shonen do, like Naruto and Bleach and Fairy Tail, they really aren't in Dragon Ball. Like, when a character gets beaten to shit, they don't suddenly get their vitality restored because they want to protect their friends. Like, when a character gets beaten to shit, that's done. Like, when Goku gets his legs crushed by Vegeta, his legs don't magically heal because he wants to save the world or he wants to save his friends. Like, no, Goku gets fucking wrecked, and he stays wrecked for a good few months in the hospital until he gets a sensu bean. But that's how Dragon Ball's always worked. And so to just see the series devolve into the stupid tropes of its successors, so to speak, is really, really sad. So that's already a big knock against the episode because, you know, the scaling is fucked. There is no fixing the anime scaling after this episode because Zamasu randomly goes from being barely stronger than Super Saiyan Blue Goku to being able to tank Super Saiyan Blue Vegito to not being able to beat Trunks. And it's just insane. It's all fucking bullshit when it comes to the scaling. And don't even tell me that scaling doesn't matter, because in a show that has always been very rooted in the strengths of its characters and creating a fairly good hierarchy of where everybody's supposed to stand in powers, this is a very just really annoying but also disappointing turn of events, especially because this is supposed to be a sequel to Z, and Z literally never fucking works like this. Absolutely never. So yeah, that's a big knock against the episode right there. Goku has Kaioken still, so that's interesting because I assumed that Toei was going to use the Kaioken as just a one-time thing and then pretend it never existed, because this is Dragon Ball Super. The concepts and ideas are constantly brought up and then just dropped for no fucking reason. And I'm going to bring up at least 3 of them that could have been applied to this episode. And it's just stuff like that that just makes me not particularly like this show and just has made me pretty much give up on it at this point. So Goku has Kaioken. Apparently he can still use it. I assumed he wasn't going to be able to use it because I just thought that they were going to drop that whole concept because this is Dragon Ball Super and there is no consistency or continuity from episode to episode whatsoever. I just assumed that they weren't going to show it up. But now that Goku does have Kaioken, I have to bring up the issue of why the fuck doesn't he use it anywhere else in the arc? He doesn't use it when he fights Black after Black kicks Vegeta's ass, you know, at episode 56 it was. Why doesn't he use Kaioken there? Like with a simple Kaioken times 2, he would be able to take Black by surprise and then just fucking kill him. Or why doesn't he use Kaioken when they fight again the next 2 times? Like he gets like a stupid rage boost, which is not part of Goku's power set whatsoever, but he doesn't use Kaioken. And then when they come back to the future again, they're like, okay, we're serious now. We are not fighting for our enjoyment. We're fighting to kill Black and Zamasu. And then he doesn't fucking use Kaioken. And I'm just like, why don't you use it? You just confirmed it still exists as a viable combative option. And don't even tell me like Goku would die if he used it, because during the last couple of time travel trips, they have a full bag of sensu just ready to go. So don't fucking tell me, oh, Goku is afraid he'll drop dead. Like, no, they have sensu, they can fix him. Oh, and then, so Goku wins the stupid beam struggle. He beats up Merge Zamasu for a little bit, and then Zamasu's halo thing breaks, and that destabilizes him because of reasons. I have no idea what this halo thing is. Like, no other character in Dragon Ball has ever had this. They don't explain it. It's just this thing that Merge Zamasu has that's keeping him stable, and I'm going to get to that in a second, but Goku's strong enough to break it, and then when it gets broken, like, Zamasu just destabilizes because immortality is not shared in his body. So he has like a mortal and an immortal body, and that's creating an imbalance in himself. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad idea. Like, I don't know what the fuck the halo thing is. I don't know why that matters. I just assumed that was like a cool visual thing, but apparently it's supposed to be some kind of important part of Merge Zamasu's like biology or whatever. But this is not a bad idea. Like, destabilizing Merge Zamasu is not a bad idea. The problem is, it's kind of dumb for the immortality to not be shared. And it gets especially dumb because they set up two much better ideas for how to destabilize Zamasu than this stupid, weird halo thing. So what I assumed they were going to do is, in episode 61, they talk about the time ring and how the time ring is keeping Black alive. So when I saw that, I assumed, holy shit, like, that's how they're going to, you know, fuck up Black. Like, they're going to go for the ring. They're going to destroy the ring, or they're going to cut his arm off, and that's going to erase him from time. And if they do that while he's in Merge Zamasu, that's going to like destabilize him. That's how Merge Zamasu is going to become like this weird freak of nature. And then in episode 63, they gave us another alternative, which I thought was actually fairly good, and it would have served to make Mai an actual relevant character to the storyline. It's the scene where Mai snipes Black in the face with that weird energy bullet thing. And so when I saw that scene, I assumed, okay, they're closing on the Potara, so we know that Black and Zamasu are going to merge soon. They just showed us like Mai potentially damaging the Potara, because the camera even closes in on it. Like, they actually close in on the Potara to actually make you think like, oh, maybe Mai actually did do something to Black that he might not take into account, that might come back to bite him in the ass. And it means jack shit. It's literally a stupid, pointless Chekhov's gun that was done for no good reason. And I feel like that also does a really big disservice to the whole mortals beating an evil god thing, because if Mai's energy bullet damaged the Potara, and that was the reason why Black and Zamasu merging is kind of faulty, because the thing they use to merge with doesn't properly work, that would have showed up some real power of humanity. It wouldn't have just been like this stupid Genki Dama sword thing. It would have been Future Bulma's invention and Mai's skill as a sharpshooter, showing that even though they're mere ants to the likes of Black and Zamasu, with the right equipment and under the right circumstances, they can make a big difference in the battle. So already that's already another big knock against the episode. And I think like the bullet one is thematically the strongest option for how to explain how Merge Zamasu is breaking to pieces. The time ring one feels like the most logical one to me because, in case you've forgotten, Future Trunks does not give a shit about stupid Saiyan pride. Trunks is not here for fighting. He doesn't really enjoy the thrill of battle the way Goku and Vegeta do. He's not the kind of guy who, in a life and death battle, is going to hold back just to enjoy himself. Like, Trunks is the guy who's going to show up, he's going to power up immediately to his maximum level, and he's going to do whatever it takes to fucking kill you. If you've read the manga, which probably most of you haven't, when Future Trunks shows up back in his own timeline to kill Future 17 and Future 18, he just kills them. Like, he immediately kills 18 and then kills 17 like a couple of pages later on. It's not even like in the anime where he dicks around with them for a little while. Like, no, in the span of like 5 pages, Trunks just fucking murders both of them. And in the Cell games, he shows his pragmatism where he's like, okay, let's give Goku a sensu bean. Like, let's stop this stupid Saiyan pride bullshit. Just kill them. And it only makes sense to me that for the guy with the sword to try and cut off Black's ring hand to maybe like fix the timeline, but the characters don't do anything with that. That's never brought up again. They just use it as a stupid explanation for Black's stupid origin, and then it never gets brought up. And even though it's such a logical way to go about it, like even Bulma doesn't say anything about, maybe aiming for the time ring. So it creates this really stupid situation where the characters are apparently going all out, but they're clearly not going all out, as they're not doing the pragmatic thing to win, even though they're saying that they're trying to actually win and not dick around because of stupid Saiyan pride. And then Zamasu does this stupid thing where he calls to the light of justice, and once again, I scratch my head at what the fuck is he talking about? Does Zamasu have some kind of external energy source that's giving him power? Is that what that portal thing was from episode 64, I think it was? Because nothing is verbally ever acknowledged about Black and Zamasu having some kind of external energy source that they power up from. He just raises his hand, says, "Give me strength, light of justice," and then something helps him power up, I guess. And then we get to the Patara. Oh god, okay. So the Patara defusing in the Buu saga was retarded. Vegito just defusing because of bad air is retarded. It was a bad explanation. But the way they go about it in this just makes me wonder, why didn't you just use Gogeta? Because they introduced this whole, the 1 hour time limit. So the 1 hour time limit, it's there for convenience sake, but here's why it's stupid. Because in the Universe 6 arc, Kibito and, Supreme Kai or Kaioshin and Kibito defuse thanks to the power of the Dragon Balls. Once again, when I saw this, I assumed that this was going to be a setup for future events where we were going to have Vegito show up, or maybe another Potara fusion character for the good guys, and this is how they were going to explain how they can have guys like Vegito show up, but then also have them diffuse so that they're not permanently fused. But this 1 hour time limit thing just makes it kind of arbitrary and pointless, because now Vegeta throwing away his pride in the Buu arc doesn't mean anything. Vegeta was willing to sacrifice his identity to fuse with Goku so he could save, Trunks and Gohan and Piccolo and Goten in the Buu arc and save the entire world. And for a character like Vegeta, that's a really big deal. Vegeta is a guy who takes great pride in who he is, what he stands for, and that whole idea of him once again willing to sacrifice his own identity for the second time in a row because he thought he was going to just get erased by Yema in the afterlife, that's another really good character moment for Vegeta that now means nothing now thanks to Dragon Ball Super. But then they also do something especially stupid with it that just also makes me wonder why the fuck they didn't just use Gogeta, and that's the fact that if you use a lot of energy with the Potara fusion, that apparently makes the fusion, end faster. Now, I don't remember GT that well, but I'm pretty sure that not even GT did this. I'm pretty sure that Dragon Ball never had the situation where just fighting a lot in a form, drains your power. Powering up to a certain level cuts the time down, like how Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan 4 cut it down to 5 to 10 minutes. I know that happens, but then then they have the 5 minutes. It's not like, oh, you have 5 minutes, but then if you actually use attacks and shit in those 5 minutes, you're going to diffuse faster. No, it's just, you've lost this amount of time, but you've still got this amount. But the way it's presented in this episode, it's like, oh yeah, you got an hour to go, but if you actually fucking do anything during that whole hour, you're going to diffuse immediately. And that's just insane. It just makes me wonder, why the fuck didn't we just have Gogeta show up? There are so many ways they could have gone about having Merge Zamasu get distracted. They could have just had him writhe in pain as his body transforms, and then while they're doing that, Vegeta and Goku, do the fusion dance, they turn into Gogeta, and then they fight. And let me be clear about this. I don't give a shit about fusion. The fusion is an okay concept, but I'm just not a fan of the fusion characters. So if they just ditched fusion altogether, I wouldn't care. That they use Vegito, I don't care. If they use Gogeta, I wouldn't care. I just like what makes sense for the storyline, and considering the fact that they introduced so many conceits for the Potara to defuse mid-fight, it just makes me wonder, well, why the fuck didn't you just have Gogeta appear and then say, oh, because Super Saiyan Blue is so powerful, it cuts down their fighting time to 5 minutes. Literally, a minor change that would have fixed a considerable many problems. But no, Vegito, I guess, is more marketable. So I guess that's a thing. And it could just be a case of Toei not wanting to introduce Gogeta to like confuse people. But then they do something weird, even on that end, where they use a video game attack in the actual show. Like the final Kamehameha never shows up in the anime or the manga. That's just a video game thing. So, like, video game attacks are okay, but you can't use Gogeta because of reasons. I don't know. But that being said, like, Vegito versus Merge Zamasu is really cool shit. It makes no fucking sense power-wise, but it's really, really cool because Vegito should be a fucktillion times stronger than Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and yet this weird, messed up version of Merge Zamasu is not only able to take Vegito on, he's able to actually hurt him at a few points, like actually pressure him in battle. So once again, the power scaling does not make any sense whatsoever. But then we get to the royal king of bullshit asspoles in Dragon Ball. If the Dragon Ball asspole family was a royal family, Trunks' Genki-Dama sword would be it. When I watch Age of Ultron, I always cringe whenever Nick Fury shows up because Nick Fury is an easy fix for any situation. So in that film, whenever the characters are actually being challenged, God forbid a villain challenges the good guys in a Marvel movie, Nick Fury just shows up and he offers them a quick fix, and then the challenge is completely gone. It's over. Like, there is no point in even dwelling on anything. And I didn't think I could hate a character's inclusion in a storyline more than Nick Fury in Age of Ultron, but future Trunks is very, very close because this motherfucker has been annoying me ever since he showed back. I think it's a bad idea conceptually to soft reboot his corner of Dragon Ball just so we can bring him back for cheap fan service. I hate his stupid quasi-god form, and I loathe his stupid Genki-Dama sword. Now, don't mistake my words here. Trunks being the guy to kill Merge Zamasu is very, very fitting. And him using like a big-ass energy sword to kill the dude, that's cool. That can work as a story point. The problem is, it makes no fucking sense. Trunks has never seen the Spirit Bomb. Trunks has no idea what the fuck a Spirit Bomb even is. Like, there is no information anywhere, like in the shows or in the movies or in the manga or in the Daizenshu or in interviews, anything that states that Trunks knows what the fuck a Spirit Bomb or Genki-Dama is. And the fact that he even forms a Genki-Dama is insane because the Genki-Dama is a technique that's supposed to be stationary. You're supposed to sit the fuck down or stand and gather the energy and then fire it away, usually as a big ball, but not necessarily. And so already that's a big load of crap, but the fact that so few energy signatures let him kill Merge Zamasu just blows my mind. Once again, the power scaling goes completely off the rails. So Super Trunks, stupid super asshole Trunks, he can take on Merge Zamasu now because reasons. So now Trunks is not only stronger than Goku and Vegeta, he's Super Saiyan Blue Vegito tier. So thanks, Trunks. That's another notch in your asshole belt for this arc. But then the human population, all 50 of them, they start giving Trunks his energy, and that gives him some kind of stupid Genki-Dama sword thing that he has no idea how he's doing it. Like, he just rolls with it. He gets the power of the 50 people on Earth plus Goku and Vegeta, and then he just gets even stronger somehow, and he kills Merge Zamasu. And I have to ask, how does any of this work? How? In the Buu arc, at the very end of the Buu arc, Goku needs to ask the energies from everyone on Namek, a fair few people from the afterlife, and the entire population of Earth just to kill Kid Buu. And Merge Zamasu is a fuck-dillion times more powerful than Kid Buu is, but apparently the energies of 50 people on Earth and 2 wounded, tired, base Super Saiyans, not Super Saiyans, like 2 base Saiyans, Goku and Vegeta, who are beaten up and tired from, getting beaten up some more by Fuse Zamasu and then the fusion wearing out, they have enough energy to make Trunks go beyond Super Saiyan Blue Vegito tier and kill Merge Zamasu. Like, this is retarded, people. This makes no sense. This is so stupid. I can't even get properly mad at it. I'm actually smiling here and just wondering to myself, like, who the fuck wrote this? And there's no foreshadowing to this technique. They never talk about it. Trunks just has it. He can just do it. And it's easily probably one of the most cliche anime endings I've ever seen in my life. And admittedly, I haven't seen too much anime. But Yahtzee from Zero Punctuation, he brilliantly all summed it up with, it's all a bunch of stupid emo kids with big spiky hair and even bigger fuck-off swords using the power of love and friendship to kill God. And that's exactly what happens here. And it's just not good. Nothing in this scenario makes sense. It's literally all nonsense. It's the king of nonsense. If you thought Goku Black's origin was some of the stupidest shit this franchise has ever written, motherfucker, you have not seen episode 66. And on that note, I tell you to go watch episode 66, because it is both a visual wonder to see, but also a spectacular mess of bad writing and bad execution that you just have to see to believe. Like, this should be used for study classes. Like, these last 5 episodes of Dragon Ball Super should be all bundled together and used as examples of cool shit that is completely stupid, and how not to make cool shit actually makes sense within the context of a good narrative. That's how bad they are. They have to be seen to be believed. And I'm not going to pretend I don't understand why some people really like this episode. Some people just don't care about the analytical stuff. Some people are fine with making bullshit headcanons to justify the show's faults. That's fine. That's your stance. I myself cannot accept that. I think this is way, way too stupid for me to just completely ignore it. It's so bad. And what makes it really disheartening even, is the fact that this arc started out really, really strong. It starts out really strong, it brings up lots of really interesting points, and then it just squanders all of its potential by shitting the bed. Like, these 5 episodes of Super that have just been released these past few weeks are some of the worst writing-wise. A lot of people will love them for the years to come because they have lots of cool shit happening in them, but I don't. It's all nonsense. These are some of the worst episodes or piece of narrative the franchise has ever produced. And honestly, I don't even know if I'm going to watch the show anymore. I've given it 60-something episodes to be good. And for a while there, it fooled me into thinking it could actually be good. But I can't lie to myself anymore. This is just bad storytelling. This is not a good show. This is legitimately bad. Everything that's bad about Z and GT and a messy production is all bundled together, and out comes Dragon Ball Super. So, I don't know what I'm going to do with the show moving forward. I'm going to watch the next episode because that's like the last official ending to the arc. It's basically the epilogue, so to speak. But I really doubt it's going to solve anything, unless it's 20 minutes of everybody trying to explain and succeeding at explaining how Future Trunks' quasi-god form works, how his Genki Dama works, how the stupid power scaling is, why is it so stupid. Unless it's 20 minutes of them trying and successfully pulling off various explanations for all this nonsense, which they won't, because Super either doesn't explain anything or is fucking bad at explaining anything. It's just not going to be good. This arc is awful in its third act. If this arc started out bad and finished really, really strong, that would be okay. That I could, just say, okay, like, the first few episodes are kind of rough. The middle act is where things start to get better, but then the third act is where everybody comes together, from the writers, from the storyboarders, from the animators, everybody comes together to make a final batch of episodes that are just going to knock you off your ass. And it's such an interesting episode because the writing is so fucking bad. Nobody gave a shit while writing this episode. I want to see what the creative process behind writing this thing was. I want to go back in time, sit down and watch these people say, yeah, and then Trunks is going to make a big, like, spirit bomb sword, and it's going to be awesome, except it's all going to be in Japanese, and I won't understand jack shit, but I want to see what the fucking creative process behind the writing of this episode was, because it's just so fascinating how so much effort was put into the animation and it was successfully pulled off, but the writing was such shit. So yeah, this has been a roller coaster of an episode, and I'm even thankful that it even exists, even despite being disheartened and kind of pissed off and all these other weird emotions. I am glad this episode exists for one purpose. Because when I'm pissed off, I get shit done. And boy, oh boy, this thing did a good job of pissing me off. I've got like a few months of writing and fan fiction and all that shit in me that I want to get out of my system, but I couldn't because I didn't have the motivation to. But now that this thing has pissed me off, it's given me my second wind, it's given me that sensu bean I needed, I'm ready to take on the world, baby. So thank you, Dragon Ball Super Episode 66, for giving me some motivation by pissing me off, and go fuck yourself for being easily some of the biggest example of piece of shit writing I have seen, not just in Dragon Ball, but probably in any anime, period. So yeah, guys, what did you think about this train wreck? Did you find it fascinating? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why did you hate it? Why did you love it? Do you find it just a fascinating example of shit going right and wrong at the same time? Has it changed your life? Probably not. I mean, that'd be weird. But anyway, if you guys want to comment about the episode, or you want to like, comment, or subscribe, or you want to dislike, because, you know, that's a thing people love to do on my channel and my videos, please do so down below. I'll hopefully see you next time. Bye.